must be applicable to both the political parties and the accused. Simply because Shivani Gupta is in BJP, Hemanta Biswa Sharma is now in BJP, you cannot go after them. And there lies the question of taking such a resolution. We are targeting the ED and CBI for an partial, biased, and evidently vindictive investigation carried out against only the TMC leaders in these two cases, both of which are investigated into because of the direction from the Supreme Court.
No, but is that a defense for what your current leaders are doing? And mind you, the allegations against the likes of Suvendu Adhikari are still from when they were in TMC governments, not from when BJP was in power, right? So I'm not understanding how that makes you look good. Ultimately, if Suvendu Adhikari, you're saying, was corrupt or allegedly corrupt, that was when you were in power or when he was with you.
I'll tell you. Our stand is absolutely clear. An individual is even distantly found to be corrupt, action must be taken against him or her. And we have taken action against Partha Chatterjee, despite the fact that he is not even charge sheeted. Today he was charge sheeted.
Yes.
So apparently our action, our removal of Partha Chatterjee both from the party and from the cabinet, now apparently it was absolutely right. So if an individual like Shivani Adhikari, even at that point of time when he was in TMC, the charge sheet would have been filed, would have taken action.
No, but the question I'm asking you is not about action. The question I'm asking you, and Shatarupa of the BJP is also joining us. The question I'm asking you, Manojit Mandal, is if you are claiming that that somebody else is also corrupt, so please, find them first and then come to us. That's not a legal defense, right? You know that.
Yeah, we are not.
The fact that you're saying that others are not being, investigated is not a defense for those from your party or government who are currently under investigation.
First of all, we are not defending any court person. We are exposing the events as unfolded because of the ED's investigation and their failure in investigating impartially.
Okay, so you're saying impartiality is the biggest thing.
That's why the resolution was warranted. Had the ED or CBI been doing their job impartially without even likelihood of bias, forget about likelihood of bias. There are two legal luminaries. They understand what I mean by likelihood of bias. Forget about likelihood of bias. They are evidently biased for the BJP leader and against the TMC leader. And there lies the question of such a resolution.
Okay, so you're saying we are not defending the charges against our own leaders. What we are saying is, why is there no visible action against the leaders of the BJP currently? Right? Impartiality is what you're talking about. All right, Manojit, just yield the floor for 1 second. Som Mandal is joining us. He's an advocate from West Bengal. Mr. Mandal, I find it interesting that all of this is said in TV studios or in TV debates. But literally nobody goes to court and says this against the ED, which just goes on to show this is not a defense at all.
Well, I think, Shivani, first of all, good evening to you and the viewers. I think the main problem is TMC is trying to shy away from investigation. They have been, trying to defend their leaders, and the only way that they could defend their leaders is to take the general permission from the investigation. I think that's how the resolution they have passed this resolution. If you see most of as you said in the beginning of your show, that most of the non-central, non-BJP government have done this. It's absolutely true that most of the opposition always use this as a tool to stop investigation by the CBI against them. This is how they do it, and one of the reasons why there is no rule of law, the courts have to intervene in these cases, and as you have seen in West Bengal, in most cases the court actually then directs CBI investigations to take place, and based on which the CBI comes and does the investigations.
Manojit, you want to respond to that? That's precisely ultimately the question.
First of all,
most of these probes are being ordered by the court. You are certainly not suggesting that there is some vast proof against the current BJP leaders which were previously with you, but the court is not ordering those probes. Are you saying that?
The court does not make an investigation. court doesn't descend from their chair to make investigation. It is the job of the investigative agency, right? Even if we go to the court, you are suggesting the court will direct the investigative agency. So now it is the prerogative of the investigative agency to do the investigation fully impartially, which they are not doing evidently. Coming back to the issue of law and order that one of the advocates apparently was trying to make. What happened when Partha Chatterjee was arrested? What happened when one of the most popular leaders of Bengal, Mr. Anubrata Mandal, was arrested? Nothing. Nothing happened. And when you arrested people belonging to the ruling party in Bengal and you are leaving the others out, people will raise questions. People representatives are bound to raise questions. That's what we are raising in the assembly, because Mamata stood for raising question against any kind of injustice. If there are evidences against any person, go after them, probe them. Though despite the fact that the conviction rate of ED especially is abysmally low, not even 0.5%. But look at the amount of raids in the last 6-7 years.
But
it went up to 2,600%.
Okay, so they are very active. Is that a crime in itself? That they're very active? So be it. One could also argue that earlier the government at the center was not that keen on fighting corruption. The current government is. Mr. Mandal wants to come in.
There is no rule of law and there is so much of corruption. There is nothing being done by the TMC government. That is one of the reasons why the people of Bengal has to depend on the courts.
I'm really astounded that an advocate is talking on without any basis of data and evidence.
But it's the truth, no, Manojit. You look at from last year when the new government was formed. From post-poll violence to corruption cases, everything is having to be mandated by the court.
There is no data required, Manojit. There is no data required. It's all apparent here. There is no data that is required to be shown. If there is corruption, it is coming out. The court is looking at the data. The court is looking at the data. We don't need to look at it. The general public and general advocates can't have the data.
I'll run down this advocate in a moment. He's an advocate, I know, because I argue with him. What you did in the Shraddha case in the last 7-8 years, you arrested 3 or 4 of our leaders, including one of the very important leaders, Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, who was in jail because of cheat fund cases. What happened? Any conviction? Any charge sheet? What happened to Madan Mitra? He was arrested. These are only malicious, frivolous charges that you bring, and you just set the investigative agency
those investigations are going on. Those investigations going on.
I hope, sir, you don't behave in this way in a court of law. My learned friend, this is my time.
What do you mean by don't behave? We always
Okay, let's get on and Manojit, finish your point, please.
Barging like that in a court of law. Don't barging like that. This is not the way of arguing. I have listened to you. Let me run you down.
Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
When you talk about law and order, your men 2 days back came to the streets of Kolkata and hit the police officers.
Okay, first of all, Manojit, don't address everybody as your men. Okay, that's not fair either. You're talking about BJP men. Please name them as BJP men. You don't need to talk to me or our panelists as your men and your women.
I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying that your
No, but don't do that, please. The other day you did that with me also. I'll have to call you out on that.